Chud Buddha.
And welcome to another exciting installment of the Terrorisk podcast. Welcome, all you chuds and spiritualists and schizophrenics
And Jags-offs.
and jags-offs.
I was trying to say Wojak-offs, excuse me. Anyway,
So
we're starting very late and I'm particularly tired.
nah, you're just overfed. That's all it is. You're just fat and happy, which is a good thing. You know, that's one less material need you have to worry about.
I've never had to worry about eating enough, which is insane because all humans throughout all of history did.
Yeah, let's get into that. It's only a pretty recent it's a pretty recent development that we don't have to worry about world hunger these days, you know?
Yeah. It's funny because even boomers had a lot of talk of it while they themselves were living lives of
There's starving kids in Africa.
Originally it was India. You know, like it's funny because like boomers are used to the stereotype of Indians starving to death. And that's totally foreign to us. Like that was something that they were always talking about in Mad Magazine, in newscasts, and
There's starving kids in India. You got to finish your plate.
in Japan. Originally it was starving kids in Japan, then India, then Africa.
That makes sense given time period.
Yeah. Originally it was Japs and also English too. Saying there are starving kids in the United Kingdom would have actually said a lot.
No, the truth is,
It would have shown a lot about the state of the world.
do you think in like
Camino coffee.
do you think in like 1930s or 40s, when actually we should say like 50s or 60s, when world hunger, the technology behind it was to solve it was fairly established? Do you think they were living amongst themselves saying like, we've officially solved world hunger? Like, do you think like people?
No, it was still very much an issue in like the 30s. It was discussed, debated. Malthus arrived in like mid 19th century, just as industrialization was putting an end to a lot of hunger.
So these thresholds are always like in hindsight, like 2020. Hindsight is 2020.
Population bomb came out in the 70s. It's also when the Green Revolution happened. Starvation decreased. The concern in the 70s was that people were going to keep having kids at the rate they were having them and the world would become overpopulated. Now, for the past 20 plus years, most people have adapted to a concern about the population collapsing, or rather the big issue being a rapidly aging population. More and more people are old and the world is inherently less dynamic.
I mean, yeah, the global population thing. It's not that I don't have.
It's interesting because I'll randomly meet people who are still hung up on the idea of overpopulation, or they still are attached to that meme, or they just kind of picked it up through osmosis.
Let me offer a different perspective. Well,
Okay.
it's an add-on, I should say. So instead of just seeing an overpopulation, quote unquote, what if it's just an overpopulation of the wrong type of minds?
Yeah.
You know, like if we got to this number more organically, like over a longer time frame, would it seem as much of a thing? Whereas now you look at like 9 billion people who are basically just products of a consumerist entity, you know, that's basically built on like industrial farming and agriculture that even fed this gigantic.
Also a rapidly aging population.
Well, you still got to feed those fuckers too. Same thing with the medicine they're gonna take, you know, until their fucking dying days. That also has to be sustained by agriculture, or just culture. But yeah, like inherently, basically, it's just how much of this population who thinks of themselves as like people with a right to live are actually just products of a corporate regime. Like,
The biggest thing is that we're all products of technological advancement. That
it's not technological advancement, is it really though?
the Green Revolution, the ability to feed as many people as we are able to, is a huge advancement, as we already were talking about or established.
Yeah, but what's the point if you're going to feed a whole population, but the quality of food only allows them to live to like 60, 70 or something, you know? Knowing we could have been a lot more holistic about our food production when it comes to like quality.
Would there be fewer people if we did?
Yes.
Yeah.
But the fewer people will be more.
Living fuller lives.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a Greek dream of the apotheosis of a certain society.
I'm not saying it's even the ideal. I'm just saying that's probably what the alternative timeline would look like.
I mean, most of human history, you have a lot of people that are not living as long as they are currently. They're fewer in number. They're dying off sooner. But there's a lot less of them, and they're a lot younger. You're back.
Yeah, Carmen's got to be right back. Richie, what about you? How do you feel about the holistic quality of our food industry, global food industry?
I mean,
It could be better, but
it could be. I mean, it works. It does
could
the
be
job,
worse.
but it could be like better. Obviously,
It's really so. Think about how throughout most of human history, most people are malnourished.
Yeah.
It's really insane. Not only our numbers, but how even if someone's fat and sick, they're not starving to death. It's bad to be fat and sick, but it's better to be fat and sick than thin and sick.
Is that true?
I think better by thin. I should say starvation. It's better to be fat and unhealthy than
I mean,
starving.
starvation, no matter what, even before industrialized farming, I feel like starvation was widely artificial. Like, unless you made a very grave error in your travel plans, you know?
I don't think that's actually true in the history of agriculture and throughout much of human history.
I'm just saying, by the time you had people exploiting technology for agricultural benefits, you would say we've kind of figured out what part of the world's, what lands are probably more fertile than not, you know?
oh, fair. That the higher population in China or Europe in the Middle Ages is in part due to the environment. And India. India is a huge population, yeah.
I mean, that's probably the first thing we did with the industrialization of food production. We're like, yo, now we could feed all these poor countries, import them here when they have a population boom, and use them for cheap labor. I mean, any country could do that, really. Like,
Yeah.
You just got to make the right deals as like a quote unquote world leader.
But anyway, Anna, I've trailed off on this thought. How have you been, Chris?
I've been good. I've just been I've been feeling compelled to make more music lately. I said before, it's because when I was making music before, I didn't really have anything to fucking talk about. I didn't have anything worthwhile to say, other than what's already been said by other musicians. You know, I think that's a great filter. It's like when you get into music and you develop a love and passion for other people's music, suddenly it's like there's less and less room for you to develop your own authentic musical identity and musical self. So before you know it, it's like any idea that you could ever conjure has already been hijacked by this one song that you heard. Like, you may have never been cheated on, you know, by like a princess from a Hungarian royal family, but you heard one song about it, and suddenly that experience, the novelty of it, is robbed from you. I mean, sure, you can experience it yourself, but you're like, yeah, I heard a song about this.
And then also when you experience it, you start referencing back to the media you saw. When I have done psychedelics, the most overwhelming thought I had
Someone else did this.
was it all looked like stoner art. Psychedelic, like I've seen since I was like 6 years old, I saw roughly the sense of what experiencing LSD was.
Yeah.
Not directly, but I saw enough visual depictions of the kind of hallucinations you have.
Okay, so there was a pretty funny meme. Richie, can you do me a favor? Can you go on the middle screen? Don't switch screens yet. Just go on the middle screen. Type in Facebook. Yeah. And go to the messages. Go to the Chris Kim chat. Just keep scrolling down. Chris Kim chat. Yeah, go up. Yeah, that one. That me. Put that to the right side.
Sorry.
I'll read it. All right. I love this. Is one of the funniest trolls of all time. I'll read it. Can DMT entities be racist? I've never taken DMT myself, but as a person of color, I am somewhat worried. I've heard stories of African Americans getting called the N-word by entities. Does this happen often? Can DMT entities be racist or Islamophobic? All right, Richie, you could close out of this. And then you see the picture of that DMT entity going, "Hello, N-word." Like, yeah. All right. So the answer is yes. It is possible, and it is probably, especially nowadays, going to be true. If you smoke DMT, there's a very good chance, as a person of color, if you smoke DMT as a person of color, there's a very good chance the entities will come at you racist. Why? Is it because the DMT entities themselves care about race and racism? No. What they will do is they will fuck with you based on what you come to them with that's already latent in your psyche. So if you're a black guy who's constantly saying like the N-word casually, which automatically triggers subconscious experiences of actual real racism and the racist root of the word, or if you do come at it as like a liberal black person, for example, and all you think about is BLM and blah blah blah, and you feel bad about it and you feel angry all the time about racists in America, and you try smoking DMT, holy shit, those entities are gonna have a fucking field day with your psyche. Now, inversely, let's say you're a white guy and all you think about is how awful the black people are, and you know how like blah blah blah, and how they're the problem with society, and how 13% causes something percent, 40% or whatever of all crime. If you're that kind of white guy and you smoke DMT, oh man, dude, those DMT entities are gonna constantly remind you how you're inferior to black dick, how they're taller than you, stronger than you, how they keep fucking you. They're gonna fuck you up. So basically, it's like if you already have racism lurking like as a main theme in your subconscious and you try smoking DMT, hell fucking yeah, they're gonna be racist. They're gonna say every fucking thing that could activate every. That's the whole point of this shit. It's literally ripping open your subconscious veil and going through every fucking deep insecurity you have. So if you come at it, I'm just saying, like, yeah. If you ask that question to me, it's like, is this common? Yeah, it is common because so many people are thinking about racism. So yeah, so many people are going to be smoking DMT if they try it, and they're going to be coming across some racist ass entities. What's your take on that? First of all, have you ever done DMT?
No, I never have. I'd love to do Well, I've done like in a chocolate. It was just a small dosage.
I think you'd be a good candidate for DMT.
I'd love to try it.
I don't think Richie should do DMT yet. I think he has to. Maybe though, what would be funny, ironic, is if it was the opposite. Like Richie tries smoking DMT and he's like a fish in water, and then you try smoking DMT, and you're like, this is not a good idea. I feel like
I feel like I'm pretty good with psychedelics.
Yeah, I mean, this is controversial too, especially within like hippies. Like, I don't believe in a bad trip. I just think I believe in a bad state of mind entering a trip.
That's what I was told.
Well, it's not that I was told this. It's just kind of what I figured out instantly. Like, as soon as I was reaching my peak on my first trip on a psychedelic, I'm pretty sure it was either ecstasy or acid. Like, right away, it just dawned on me. I was like...
What you said before about songs or media giving you a program, like a pre-primed frame for experiencing something.
100%.
Psychedelics were like that with me.
That you had the right pre-programming, the right setup before you explored it.
Yeah, it's entirely due to my dad.
For me, it was entirely due to the right... I'm not saying like everyone can access like the right setup before you take psychedelics to lead to a good. I was lucky. I think anyone who enters psychedelics the right way would say the same thing. Like, I was lucky, because like they understand truly if they got into it, like how bad it could go, and it's all about the setup. Like, it's not really about you as a person. It's not about the drug. It's really just about the setup, like who you're doing it around, where you're doing it, what point in your life you're doing it. Because no matter what, like whatever, my theory is that like if you're going through bad shit in life, or if you're in a bad state of mind in life and you try doing psychedelics, it's just gonna magnify it. It's just gonna expand it 100-fold. If you're like feeling good about life, it's just gonna magnify it, maybe to a manic degree. If you have a desire and intention to explore and to gain insight, then it's gonna magnify that intention, you know, or the results of it. So this might be controversial, I say again, but if you had a bad trip, it's not the drug, and it's not you. You were just being stupid about it.
I think that's accurate.
Because it's really easy to misuse it. It's easier to misuse this shit than it is to properly use it. That's why I say that. Like it's not. It's It's not even like up to like people. There's plenty of people who think they'll use it right, and then they just end up fucking it up. And there's people who just don't know what the fuck they're doing, and they have accidentally the best experience ever. That's me. You know. But you're right. It is probably a subconscious setup either way. You know. I think driving works like that too. Because like no one taught me anything specifically, but growing up throughout formative years, seeing like good driving habits and like engaged driving, it kind of like seeps into you. Like during your driving test, you're like, they might try to get in your head, but you're like, I've seen people in my family drive like more anally and more responsibly than this guy's suggesting. So for you, it's like nothing. Same thing with martial arts. Like I was telling Richie, I was like, yo, you fought me. Like trust me, like other guys aren't going to be as much of a problem, Not because I think I'm the best. It's just I know like scales, like scaling of like skill levels and shit. And I'm like, dude, there's nothing to be afraid of for you. You could fight in like an intermediate, and that's going to make you less afraid of beginners. Sometimes I wonder, it's like, what is it going to be like when I'm like 45 and still practicing swordsmanship? Like, will I really get that much better after another like 12 years? I think I will. I think I'm going to get crazy. There's no reason. I can't see the only thing that could possibly get in the way of me becoming better in swordsmanship is like getting a girlfriend, getting married, having kids. That's the only thing I could picture.
Maybe it would make you a better swordsman.
No, it wouldn't. It would make me a better warrior, but it wouldn't make me a better sword practitioner. Because a warrior doesn't just rely on swordsmanship. The warrior relies on everything at their disposal, and the warrior mentality, which is given by martial practice. But for raw swordsmanship skill and practice, that's only gained through time and energy put in. Even prodigies will fall one day if they don't practice, Even the chosen ones or the sword saints will still fall if they don't practice. That's why they fucking just retire. That's what makes them saints, because they realize the game. They're like, this is stupid. Why am I doing this? Why are we doing this? Like, what do we actually get out of this? Like, this is stupid. I mean, it's cool what we do, but it's like for the goal here that we're setting is kind of dumb. That's why Musashi retired when he was like in his 40s. He was like, this is fucking dumb. I mean, I'm grateful for like how strong it made me, but what did I do with it ultimately? All I did was kill a bunch of idiots. Like, I was an idiot killing a bunch of idiots, I would imagine if you do any art right, you would end up in the same place. You could be a world famous painter. It's like, am I happy? I'm here at this stupid art gallery with a bunch of people I don't like, and I have to do a bunch of coke just to seem cool enough to be able to stay up enough and to fucking party enough, and then I have to suck a guy's dick probably just to fucking, be relevant. Like, or I could just make great art and not care who sees it, and then maybe after I die 100 years later, I'm venerated. It's all ego. Ego is
Who
really,
was the last great visual artist, last great painter?
I mean, in my opinion, I have no idea. Probably a long time ago, but in modern mainstream opinion, it's Banksy.
I hate Banksy.
Well, it's just because he's the most successful and prolific artist in the modern day.
I'll say Basquiat.
I don't even know who that is.
The gay Haitian guy.
Yeah, he's black, right? Yeah.
He had a girlfriend. I got a gay.
Okay, he was just bisexual. Okay, fair.
I just don't
Richie, who do you think is the last great painter?
Ever?
Like the most recent great painter. Like even something that's inferior to predecessors. Someone who is still a significant recent art, relatively recent.
I can't say a person like all the like Japanese OVAs. They're really beautiful artwork. Well, animation is not artwork.
No, it is, but yeah.
That's only because they had a huge budget in the 90s.
I wasn't thinking about moving images, but
Sorry, I'm drunk, so I'm like...
That's okay.
I guess what? In the Magic Gallery and Artist, I guess. Probably
Oh, interesting take. Yeah, I could get behind that.
Who?
I wonder who like made art for
90s Magic the Gathering.
Yes.
Where the cards could be very abstract.
I think the best visual artists, probably like the most important ones, are all in like, I mean, non-moving.
Yeah, recently.
comic book artists.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, I guess so,
Actually,
yeah. That probably is the best choice.
Because comic book artists are the ones, it's not about their technical visual art ability. It's because comic book artists are stuck in such a static visual format that they have to push their psyche to really understand the actual dynamics behind storytelling and archetypes. Because when you have like moving images and sound and all these other illusions to play with, you don't have to worry so much about archetypes and like telling the actual patterns, the primal patterns of a story, if you could just give them a bunch of visual spectacle, which a lot of movie makers have done. So that being said, like the comic book artists as visual artists, they're tasked with pushing the boundaries in terms of a pure visual stimulus sense, but they also are locked into the utilitarian use of their visual artwork for storytelling. So I think the ultimate visual artists are in the modern day are comic book artists,
mangaka and comic book artists.
because they're basically, I mean, what they're doing with their art, their imagery when it comes to the narrative element is they're crystallizing fact from the vapors of nuance. Like you could write like 3 pages in a fucking dense ass pages in a novel describing like 2 seconds in a moment, whereas the mangaka or the comic book artist could probably just do it much more efficiently within just like a panel, you know?
Yeah, I can see it or see the appeal.
So that's what
And
I mean.
also, they're the last people really seemingly challenging themselves as opposed to engage in a bunch of performances,
Yeah.
which is true of much of our world.
And you can't do that through like just pure technical understanding and like cold like statistical analysis of everything. It's like, no, you have to have a very visceral, very physical understanding of every moment, not just like a physical moment of action, but like even like a conversation of just like one word being spoken, like still betrays emotions, gestures that a comic book artist could do much more succinctly is the word, or I should say sufficiently. I don't know.
Succinctly would be the right word, yes.
Yeah.
Saying more with less or in fewer words.
And they
or-
could do that.
Yeah.
And they do it and like a painter, a good painter who's like, you know, whatever, like they're more narcissistic than that. Whereas like the comic book artists, they're not just portraying their style of artwork, they're also doing their fucking job, which is bigger than them and their artwork.
Certainly with solo mangaka who are doing the same work for a period of years and years.
Yeah. Whereas you got these like gay ass fucking kids out of LaGuardia or fucking
The airport?
no, LaGuardia Art School, high school in New York City. Or coming out of what's the other, RISD?
RISD, Pratt.
Pratt.
What you said before of like art schools being the public schools of universities. It's more like rich dumb people get sent to art school.
That is true. It's like were you born rich but you have no real intelligence or skills, then you're just going to get sent to art school and make the world a worse place on a spiritual level.
Yeah.
Not just an economic level, you know?
Sounds like we have an entire system for generating terrible artists to gum up the works.
Well,
Accidentally, not deliberately.
what makes a terrible artist?
A lack of anything to say.
A terrible person.
And terrible. Okay.
A terrible person is a person with a lack of anything to say, because a person with a lack of anything to say.
A lot of great artists are terrible people in their personal lives, but
What do you mean? What define that? Like terrible people? Why are they terrible?
selfish, inconsiderate.
Okay, so selfish and inconsiderate, not like the default in the material society of the modern world anyway.
Fair.
Like I feel like when it comes to like great minds and artists, all their worst traits and worst characteristics were a product of the material world. And the only thing that was divorced from that was their artwork, was their craft, was
Okay,
something
yes,
from God.
yes.
The only way they could sustain such divine greatness on this earth was to temper it with some fucking heinous tendencies, poor socialization, because they were never taught.
Yeah.
You can reconcile those things. You can have amazing things to say and express through artwork if you're not a bad person. It's just we're locked into believing it's the opposite. We're locked into believing only terrible people could make good art, could make good writing, could make good visuals. it makes like it makes us locked not only into saying, oh, I'm terrible, but I'm not, at least I'm not alone, but it's also like I should be terrible so I won't be alone. That's the culture that, you know, we're getting pushed through artistically in the modern world, you know. I mean, I was comfortable when it was I may be terrible, but at least these great artists were terrible too, so I'm not alone. Now it's, if I'm not terrible, then I won't be like these great artists, so I have to be terrible. That's where the black pill comes from.
And having to back it up by actually producing something.
Yep, which is going to be
You're
terrible.
driven to do, to do more to compensate for
Yep.
it.
I have to honor these guys who validate my shitty worldview by making my own shitty worldview, which is, you know, like sexual marketplace and fucking hypergamy and fucking basically all the deepest insecurities, is just expanding them and magnifying them like needlessly, just to make yourself feel more comfortable about your own fucked up tendencies, you know?
Yeah.
It's not healthy. You can't live like that. And there's the only antidote. I don't want to say God. Let's go level lower. Let's say gratitude. Gratitude is a better solution than thinking like life is unfair. Life treated me like shit. I'm gonna take it on the world through my art. Like, fuck you, yo, you fucking pussy. I'll fight you. Like, you know, like at least I know you're not an insecure jock who just wants to prove it straight. No, you're an active participant in the spiritual detritus of mankind. I have to physically harm you to just not even hurt you, but to bring you back to earth. You know, like. Like that's the guy. It's like, yeah, you know, come to the dojo. We'll work out some of your frustrations. You know, like it happens all the time. You know, I'm sure with a lot of like martial arts schools historically that was the case. Those probably made the best students though. It's like you have the passion, your outlook is just fucking stupid. So let's recalibrate. You know, and we do that through hurting you. Enjoy. You know, that's what.
What's your favorite Kurosawa, Chris?
Is Yojimbo?
Yeah.
I like the idea of giving yourself to service, because when you give yourself to service, it's really hard to do dishonorable shit, because you're living for one thing, which is to be the benefit of another. You know.
I really love Ron, his adaptation of King Lear from the 80s with bright colors and all that.
You know what I've been getting interested in?
What?
Well, this also ties into what we're talking about. Rituals. Now, we kind of talked about this earlier, but I was talking about how rituals are essentially taking a person who's in a particularly suggestible state, maybe with psychedelics, and putting them through, or trauma, or putting them through a sequence of acts, behaviors, habits that would systematically traumatize them, which makes them open to programming the will of a higher metaphysical intention. So you could do this like in, say, a dark way. Like you could program people to be your slaves. You could literally harvest their souls by making them fuck kids in front of a camera, for example. It's like, great, I'm a billionaire, by the way, and we all do this to each other. So if you ever like betray us as we let you in, you're fucked. That's the most effective way if you really want power. It's a deal. It's a deal with the devil, essentially. But it doesn't have to be evil. For example, there's other deities besides just greed and power. There's also gratitude. There's the warrior spirit. The true warrior spirit isn't just trying to like destroy things and win over everyone. The true warrior spirit seeks to maintain balance. The true warrior spirit seeks to fight injustice. Not injustice in like pettiness, but injustice in energy, spiritual injustice. You know, let people make mistakes. But if it gets to a point where it's like you're actively trying to make mistakes so other people can make mistakes, like you're evil. You know, we gotta fuck you, we gotta stop you. So there's different spirits you could ascribe to, and so why does this matter as a human being, as a non-spirit? Well, you could gain their powers. You could gain the powers of these entities. And the way you do it is you follow the patterns. Every myth, every story has a script. Think of any myth, like any warrior myth. Oh, the myth of, I don't know, Jason, you know, and the Argonauts, like his ordeals. What did he go through? He lost something, then he had to
Joseph
sacrifice
Campbell, Jungian archetypes, power of myth, hero circle, all that.
That's one example. Then there's also the ruler. I want to be a great king or an emperor, and these are that has its own set of protocols and rituals. But you have to go through an ordeal. Now, You could leave it up to nature, which is what's supposed to happen. Like this child happened to be born and they happened to go through this like situation geopolitically or tribally or whatever, and they went through it and they became they became the leader. But you could also artificially induce these states, and you could artificially manufacture these psychic frameworks in people. Let's say you wanted to tap into the warrior spirit.
Yeah.
You wanted to adopt the spirit of a warrior, which means you have the spirit is something higher than yourself, higher than Carmen. And you want the spirit to come down and imbue its qualities upon Carmen, so Carmen could be more like the warrior spirit. How would you do this? Well, what does it mean to do the ritual? What if your ritual is just saying like, is working out, eating healthy, animal sacrifice, ketosis? You know, it's like I'm going to sacrifice the meat of this cow to imbue in my body, and I do it with gratitude and intention and willful intention. Or it's like I train with willful intention to not be the best, to not win, to gain something. Please, I'm seeking guidance through my training, through my ordeal. And then once you're in that state, eventually the spirit starts to manifest through you, and you become less Carmen, and you become more warrior spirit. You become more Saint Michael. You become more.
You take on that archetype. It possesses you, or you're channeling it.
Yes, and it's a deal. It's. They say worship. I think worship is just in their way of saying it's a contract. It's saying, here's what I'm going to do for you. I'm going to parrot your words, and I'm going to walk your path. Meaning, I'm going to work out 6 days a week. I'm going to follow ketosis. I'm going to follow semen retention. I'm going to not hang out with people who disrespect me. I'm going to respect myself. Basically, you're following the ritual, and you do something that represents these factors every day consistently. Eventually, your mind, body, soul, the entirety of it, your holistic self, becomes open to spirits, this pattern, this archetype, this primal form. You know, like. And I think this is how it's, and I don't want to say it's religious. I don't want to say it's spiritual. I don't want to say it's psychological. Maybe it's something in between, you know? Maybe it's something alien. But it is,
something from beyond ourselves.
And I'll never be able to prove it.
The general new tropic sphere.
I'll never be able to prove it, but I can say, I think I tapped into it. Like at one point. And like,
you entered into an altered state, right? Like kind of like a berserker state among the Norse.
No, it was more like a dead man walking state. Where it was like, I need to win this, but right now, as I'm winning it, like I'm not even thinking about winning it. I'm not thinking about anything. I'm just a living weapon. That's what I felt like. That's what I was thinking. I wasn't thinking. I was like, it's like I'm not Chris. I'm just a giant sentient blade holding a blade. You know, like a fleshy sword handle. You know, like that just
a big dick you were swinging around.
I guess that's one way to put it. Yeah,
but no. You stopped being yourself, and
everyone
you were subsumed into
everyone was
thing.
fighting was like a Miguel, a George, a Ron. You know, like they were still.
This is a Zen thing. You were just the swordsman.
Because by then it was too late for me. Before I even started that tournament, I already told my friends, and I already put my ego on the chopping block. I was like, if I don't get first place, I'm going to shave my head.
Yeah.
Everyone was expecting it, and to the point,
I was expecting
exactly.
it. Yeah.
So I was like, there's nowhere left for me to like rationalize. When that tournament day came, so Chris died. Like the Chris had nowhere left to turn. So it was like, all right, fuck me up, fam. I'll give myself to everything I've trained, struggled up until now. Now I have no control. Because up until the day the tournament came, I had full control. I could train as much as I want. I could prepare. I could meditate. I could study. I could ponder. I could contemplate. But by the time the tournament day came, I couldn't train anymore for it. I couldn't prepare any more for it. It was it. That was it. There was nowhere left that Chris could possibly contribute. And yet he was still facing the unknown. So Chris died. And it's like, all right, what's left? The soul takes over. Something else takes over. Something comes in, and it's like, all right, Chris, step aside. Saint Michael steps in. Hachiman steps in. Fucking Ares steps in. Whoever it is, like he comes. I think the spirit, the archetypes have different.
Have you ever read the Iliad?
No.
This is a prominent element of the Iliad of the individual heroes or champions at different moments will be like overcome by cowardice, or they'll take on this different state.
They
like
become
Ares.
possessed,
Ares will come into them and they'll suddenly be incredibly brave.
Because their ego dies. And then,
Yeah.
and when you put yourself in that warrior state, thinking in one part of your mind, it's like, I'm gonna still be Jason throughout this whole thing, and I'm gonna come back as Jason. I'm gonna have my glory as Jason. But then when Jason actually does it, and he's in this shit, he's like, Jason is very ill-equipped to handle the situation, and Jason is very, very terrified right now, and yet Jason is still forced to be in this situation, and Jason doesn't want to die. What does Jason have left to do is give it up. And then it's like, if Jason's still alive, then that means something else stepped in and said, all right, Jason, I may not like you, and you may not even respect me as much as you should, but you did the work. You love your mother. You loved your father. You honored your country. You worked out your body. You took care of yourself. You did this. So fine, I'll save you. They have no choice. That's the contract. I really think it's that, because I didn't train into the tournament thinking I'm going to invoke the warrior spirit to help me win this tournament. No, I did the only thing I knew how to do, which was work out, train harder, eat better, sleep more, do less bad shit. That's the only thing I had control of, and that was all it took for the contract to be written. Now, you could do this for anything. Like, you may not even know, like, going into this Illuminati or Freemason Lodge mansion, that eating the food, doing the drugs, and doing the weird ritual with your Bible or Torah thing and saying, I forsake this, and then coming in and raping a child. Like, you may not have known coming in what that would do, but doing it still has the effect where suddenly you could start shapeshifting and, like, this reptilian serpent being comes through you. Like, shit like that could happen. It doesn't just have to be as tonic as I'm describing with the warrior spirit. It could be as toxic as, like, great, now you're one of the Nagas. Like, you're now, like, because, like, I think for us, like, what we look at as possession, the entities, the demons, the spirits, they look at as pregnancy, reproduction. They sustain on this. They expand on this. This is why spirits and demons are so willing to make these contracts with us. They're so willing to say, all right, you want to be a fucking gold digging slut? Oh man, Jezebel's going to have a good time with you. It's like, all right, well, you want to be a selfless but strong fucking warrior who protects others? Well, all right, Hercules will be there, or Achilles, or the spirit of Saint Michael, or whatever. Or it's like, all right, you want to be that, and then you may not know it, but if you follow the actual rites, the steps, the ordeals, then the spirit is going to come to you, whether you know it or not. Whether call it this or that, it's the archetype that's going to eventually come. You felt it before, I'm sure, with something. Maybe it was poetry. Maybe it was writing. Maybe it was fucking bitches. Like, the goddess of love came because you were in the right state. You were open enough for her to give her insight that you don't know where you got it from, but you just had an inclination. I should read this book. And this book gave you the right insight. It was something came from somewhere else that shoved you, nudged you, because you just happened to do the right ordeals.
Yeah, you're like casting the right spell, the right ritual practice.
And maybe the people calling it magic, maybe the people calling it magic, and maybe the people calling it coincidence, and maybe the people calling it just cause and effect, maybe they're all right and they're all wrong at the same time. Maybe it's something in between.
They're all referring to the same practice, all these different fingers pointing at the same place.
Yeah, look within.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I like when Richie says it. Means he's comfortable.
He is comfortable. He's had a
safe.
long work day, unlike me, so he also passes out readily.
Yeah. I'm in the middle of the Jewish holiday week.
So how's that been work-wise? Are you getting less of a workload as a result?
Yeah, I'd say so for sure. I mean, it's always a weird time because, it's the Jewish holidays with my job, and it's also like my birthday month. I'm going to be turning 34 in like 57 minutes.
57 minutes, damn.
Yeah. At 12 a.m. tonight, I'm going to be 34.
Well, I'll say it when it happens.
Well, I'm just happy I survived, because like Jesus died when he was 33, but 33 is apparently a very important year. Is a year for a man, and I felt it was very important for me. I think so anyway.
Why? What do you feel are the defining factors that were so important for you?
Because I balanced out my spirituality a lot more. It was when I first fell into it, I was mostly like, oh, this is interesting, this is exciting, I want to like get into it, like now it feels more like there's a sense of service attached to it, because like now it's like, yeah, I'm having a lot of fun, but if I do it right, even if I'm having fun on my own, other people can always see my journey and they could be like, hey, I may not agree with every way Chris did this, but at least I know it's possible. Something like this is possible. Maybe I'll think of a better way to do it, which I encourage, you know? But I want people to know it's possible. I don't care about doing it better than everyone, like whatever. I just think the world would be a better place if everyone took a more holistic approach to life. You're not just your body and mind. You're something else too. Your body and mind is just an antenna for something also greater. Otherwise, you wouldn't be as capable as you are now to create things. Whether that's destruction or creation.
I'm going to take just a moment, man. Here, I want to. All right. Now, anyway, after that return.
So there's two ways to be safe from metaphysical forces like spirits and demons. One is to just align yourself with God, because God is even above any spirit or demon. God is the source of them too. In fact, the reason why spirits and demons are fighting with each other is probably because God is in the middle of some kind of dilemma. Honestly, like yeah, as far as you got all these rape and trauma and abuse demons, and you got all these like courage, gratitude, and forgiveness angels and spirits like all fighting each other. But it's probably because like above them, God, the big man, their father is probably like our father is probably like in the middle of a dilemma. He's probably like not sure what to do with everything below him. He's like, what do I do with all this? You know, it's like, do I scrub it away, start over, or is there something here worth saving? And that's the real battle. For us, it's life or death. For the spirits and demons, it's pride, you know, for their father's love. And for God, it's just a stupid problem. It's like a annoying issue.
It's an intellectual debate. It's a thought problem.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So knowing that, you know, knowing where we stand in that chain of like cosmic and cosmic like dialectic, I should say, cosmic moral dialectic that we're all subjected to. Where do you think you align? Do you think you align more towards like, I don't know, like service to self or service to others? I mean, I feel like you're more service to others because you put a lot of energy into it, right?
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that, and there's nothing wrong with like being more service to self. It's just doing it in a way that's
I always fantasize or romanticize service to self. My life has been dominated by service to others.
Yeah, but don't you think people who are like pros at service to self don't feel the same way? It's like for them, they live in a world where everyone's a predator, where everyone's like trying to get them because that's what they.
That's
project.
true. I go through life seeing the good in everyone.
Meanwhile, they have to go through life to survive, seeing the bad in everyone. Meanwhile, for you probably survive better if you see the good in everyone. That's how significant a shift in polarity can make with your perspective. It's very, very foundational to your experience to life. And they're both important. It's like, I'm not saying be all service to others or be all service to self.
Yes, I know. 51% self, 49%
Others.
to others.
51% to others, 49% to self.
Oh, yes, my bad. Yeah.
But if you flipped it, I don't even think it would be that terrible either.
No, it probably depends on your personality.
Yeah.
You want to have an almost equal,
Yeah.
complete equilibrium.
But complete equilibrium is probably fucking impossible.
A true 50-50, huh?
Yeah. But yeah, I think 49-51 is a good ratio to try to keep. The 1% is just to remind you to like not lose yourself. That's it. Or the 2%, I should say.
Depending on the individual, whichever is the better form to take. How I've just created an infinite pause here to fill up time.
No. I want you to be able to
Articulate?
Yeah, because like, you know, if you're aware of this shit, then you could converse with a person on multiple levels. For example, like you could converse with me as Chris, who has an ego, who has material desires, who has a material past, who has his own traumas, his own emotional baggage. Or you could talk with the entity that Chris has opened himself up to, which is a bridge to God. And you have that same one too. And we have the choice to converse at different levels of that between each other. I could converse with Carmen with his own traumas and his emotional baggage and his own karma and all that shit. Or I could converse with the soul latent within him. Now, some people will really try to bury that, will really try to block off that inner child, the inner divine spark, the soul, you know?
Mhm.
They want to forget it because it hurts them to let that thing exist in their reality, you know?
Those who are purely materialist, those who are attempting to be atheists through and through.
Or those who were damaged and conditioned from when they were a kid to completely ignore such things.
Or are possessed by malevolent spirits.
Yeah. And what I don't like is like there's a lot of people, it's like, oh, men suppress emotions. It's like, do you know what happens if men just let their emotions roam free? It's like, no, you can't say that.
Yes, because a lot of society is structured around preventing or minimizing male violence.
Harm reduction. All of politics, people think politics is about harm reduction. Meanwhile, politicians know it's about control. That's the great discrepancy. It's like people tolerate politics not because they desire control for themselves or because they tolerate being controlled. It's because in their eyes it's harm reduction. Whereas the politicians, they don't give a fuck about harm reduction. For them, it's just control. So yeah, soul. Don't let them take your fucking soul, bro. Don't let any political government, don't let any government body take your soul. Because, like, you know, when you compromise yourself enough materially, eventually all your emotional reactions are going to be dictated by that thing, that anchor. That is what's taking your soul. For example, if you're poor and you weren't married and you didn't have kids and you live day to day, you might, you know, wish I had a car, I wish I had a house, I wish I had this and that. Great. What if you did have a car? What if you did have a house and you did have a family, but you were in like crazy amounts of debt to an Italian mobster who had like blackmail on you and who could kill you and chop
That
off
so
your...
rarely happens anymore. People are just
Are
indebted
you
to credit.
you're
People
saying-
are just indebted to credit card companies.
Oh, no,
now.
no. Okay. Yeah, you're right. This specific version of blackmail doesn't happen anymore. But you cannot sit there and tell me blackmail doesn't happen anymore.
No, it definitely does, yeah.
In fact, blackmail has become more pervasive on regular people. Blackmail used to be an
It's
elegant...
been decentralized. It's been distributed.
Yep. Now any bitch with like poorly timed nudes from a guy can like hold it over and it's like, oh, didn't you have a girlfriend? He's like, what the fuck? This is too easy. Why am I getting punished? Yeah, dude. It's now literally it's been decentralized.
Distributed about how information technology enables, as we said before, what was previously just the domain of intelligence officers.
Back in my day, if I wanted to cheat on a wife, I would take her to my garage or my workplace when she went on lunch at her job, and then we would fuck, and then I'll go home. Nowadays, it's like I didn't even get pussy. I just sent like pictures to this fucking bitch who lives in like Argentina that I've never met, and you know, like, and that pretty much does qualify for emotional unfaithfulness. And now I ruined my life, and it happens way faster. Even that bitch in Argentina could be like, you better PayPal me something. You know, like, I have your girlfriend's fucking Instagram. It's decentralized blackmail.
Fascinating how information technologies leads to individuals behaving like intelligence agents.
No, I mean, who falls for it though? That's another thing. To be honest, it's like this will lead to another spicy topic. It's the people who don't understand pattern recognition. You got to not know pattern recognition to not understand like these like soliciting sex ads from like hookers are 99.9999% fake, and probably some guy who's gonna hustle some money out of you. And if he knows you're an idiot, and if he knows you have a compromisable social life, he's gonna get money out of you.
Yeah, sex rotation. Yeah.
So yeah, blackmail has definitely become decentralized. I love that, decentralized blackmail. You should coin that in a tweet. Actually, it's pretty good. That means now I know you're engaged in a podcast because you're not like tweeting. Your noodle is bacon right now.
You're right about it. I should have a notepad to write down the things I say, so I'm not distracted by my phone, but I can still record.
I know.
things.
For me, it's
because if I don't record them, I'll probably forget by the end of the podcast.
For me, it's days when I know like it's hard for me to like keep up. Maybe I'm just like I have like low levels of mental energy, so I would just like keep the pad to kind of like if I have a train of thought while listening to you talk, I'll write it down so I don't forget it, so we can loop back to it. I think this podcast is valuable. Like maybe not now in like the specific context of now, but like say in like 5 years, if someone were to look back on this and want to start their own podcast, this would be a very, very
Perhaps it'd be good for us as a vlog, a genuine vlog.
Yeah. Also, I do know that if I was like an old man, I would 100% want to look back on this as a very big point in my life.
Yeah, that's a good point of looking back at yourself much younger in video. To
I'm
see
not.
yourself
Yeah,
in
it's not the
flesh at one
podcast that I
point.
care about. It's just having the opportunity to look at
The
us.
posterity.
Yeah, like look at the way we were talking.
Prosperity.
Imagine us at like 50 looking back at this. I'll be like, yo, Carmen.
Posterity.
I'll be like, Carmen, check this out. Look at those guys. Like that's probably gonna happen. I could already see it happening.
That is actually probably the most likely event. Nothing else won't get big. It won't ever get very many followers.
You know what I
But
think
it will
would happen,
exist
though?
as something showing a time and place in our lives. Go on.
What could happen is like as we do this, we could each do our individual thing, and then once people find out about it, they're gonna like, oh, that person's in a podcast, and then they're gonna care more about the podcast because they'll see you do your thing, or me do my thing, or Richie do his thing, and then they'll be like, I want to know more about this guy. And it's like, wait, he does a podcast. It's like, let's see what he's like in the podcast. And I don't think this podcast is shitty enough to ever incriminate us. I think if like it like no matter what like we do, like if you looked at this podcast down the line, you wouldn't look at a bunch of guys who were like trying to be socially toxic just for, clout. You just see a bunch of guys who just put themselves out there like earnestly and sincerely. And I think it may not be as valued immediately now, but I think that's going to only become more novel, at least. Especially with like language models, like doing the creative grunt work for like a lot of like petty fucking endeavors. Something like this showing up. Even I've noticed even my Facebook posts. It's like people are like, it's not that they like what I say. It's just the fact that I'm saying it and not like some fucking robot. And that's becoming more and more common, or some generated ad like showing up. It's like very less and less people are using their fucking words, whether it's podcasting or making like text format posts. Like less and less people are using their fucking words. It's like I don't even know if Gen Z people even know how to write an essay, which is nothing like a blog post or a story, like an actual essay, like just what?
No, they're so not used to it if they're not ground on it.
Like a 3-paragraph format, intro, body, conclusion. Can you not fucking do that? Like seriously? I have to teach them? I think I do. Like I think that's like me failing as like an older generation. It's like, but that's why I do what I do, I guess. Is because I want to. A part of me does want to show people how it's done in an AI world where it's like the AI is cool, the prompting is cool, the less legwork is cool, but you still gotta like respect like what you're trying to cultivate here, your creative prowess, and you can't do that by just outsourcing everything to AI. You still have to remember how to write like paragraphs. Maybe they won't be at the level of like say fucking like Hunter S. Thompson or fucking I don't know Tom Sawyer or fucking
Mark Twain.
Sorry, Tom Sawyer, Mark Twain. But like, I think the more you it's a muscle too. I also know like intellectuals like academics who probably ingested a lot of literature. Like I'll say her name. It was Steph. She said like she doesn't believe the writer's voice exists. She believes that the authenticity, quote unquote, is actually just like a trick, like a gimmick. And I was like, I didn't like that because I remember at one point in my life I would have agreed with that sentiment. But then like now it's like I 100% disagree with it because I think I get what the whole point of that concept is of the writer's voice, It's the same way as I would speak before a spiritual awakening versus how I speak after a spiritual awakening. Same thing. How I would write before discovering my soul. How I would write after discovering my soul. Before I was discovering my soul, I would care too much about material pursuits of writing, such as being informative, being valuable, being timeless. Whereas after you discover your soul, you're like you appreciate just how powerful words are when you consider how significant emotions are to our life experience and how specific words and chains, besides the ideas they transmit, can actually affect your emotions to the aesthetics of a sequence of words, you know? Aside from the meaning of it. Like, once that to me is discovering the writer's voice, because you discovered your soul, because you discovered the nature of everything then. Because if everything is mind, according to the mystery schools, and you master your mind by discovering your soul, then there it is. You discovered the writer's voice.
Yeah. You've leaned very heavily on metaphysics this episode.
Well, that's what people like. I mean, because I noticed, like, you know, in the
Do you like what, different non-dress and
no, I just fucking when I look at the
comments?
No, the statistics. I have the little spiky bar chart thing, you know, where
Yeah.
it's like, oh, for this episode it had this much engagement for this much time, and it's usually the episodes where we talk about this show that people respond to the most.
So let's see what the response will be. You
Well,
expect
what
more
what
likes?
What does it mean? It means that people in general, I think, have a spiritual hunger. You know, back then we had like a sexual hunger. You know, well, in my cultural purview, I would say, like, I remember when sexuality was like the biggest thing, and then before that it was like acceptance for your mental dysfunctions. Remember when mental illness dominated social media?
Yes.
And we're surprised that
I'm
it turned into this.
I suppose that the people who are using social media at that particular point in time talked about it a lot.
Yeah.
Probably lined up with a cohort effect of a certain number of millennials of a certain age being on social media, and that was in the waters. That was something that was popular at the time.
Yep. And a lot of those people from that era of social media, they're either, very few of them died of COVID, but some of them did. Some of them just completely became so shot. Not even from ketamine, before that, from ecstasy, Molly.
How many people do you know that died of COVID?
1, 2, 1.
Everyone I know that has died was someone that was very old.
Yeah. For
Or
me,
had-
it was just this one person who was I was Facebook friends with, and he was a hentai artist, like a 4chan.
Interesting.
He was like this fat Filipino kid.
Okay, so he had like pre-existing health
Oh,
conditions.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know anyone young who died of
Oh,
COVID.
no. I mean, if what I think you're implying, yeah, I would probably agree with you. Where COVID wasn't really, it wasn't so much of a, it was just like a shaking of the board, you know, just whoosh, clear out the chat kind of thing. I don't know if it was ordained by a government or a god. I don't know. Maybe it was China. Maybe it was the Illuminati. I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe America released it on China to try and cripple them.
That's a fun one.
This is my pre-existing conspiracy theory on COVID, is that it was an American attack on China.
All I know, besides like the intent of it, I know that COVID was traumatic on a mass scale. I know that trauma, during times of trauma, is the best time to program people, whether on an individual or a mass scale.
Yeah.
And I know it's probably easier to artificially do a COVID than it would be like, I don't know, a Black Plague in that era, you know?
You ever think about how it's noteworthy that COVID mostly attacked the old and people with pre-existing health conditions? Children, literally babies, were immune to COVID. No baby died of COVID. That's very weird for a disease.
And it's like, do you believe that the resulting injections you get from the push for vaccination, like, do you think that's like it could truly be that innocuous, like likely if you were the government and you had
My
an
suspicion is that the COVID vaccine did very little to young people, with an occasional person being fucked up, and probably killed off a bunch of old people. But already COVID was going to kill off a bunch of old people. And it might be a net benefit.
I mean, a lot of people look at it as like a kill thing.
Yeah.
What if it was simply an accelerant? Like, if you were a person that already had the framework set where you would be more likely to function better in hypercapitalism, it would accelerate your survival or your development or your leg up. Whereas if you were the person who wouldn't function as good in hypercapitalism, it would accelerate your decaying process or whatever would kill you, whether it was because of COVID or something psychological, something.
People who gained a lot of weight over COVID.
Weed themselves out of the gene pool. Yeah.
People who got addicted to various substances.
Ketamine.
Yeah.
Who fell into crazy, insane, like you're
It's
still.
interesting that COVID overlaps with weed normalization in a lot of ways.
Dude, I see
Wow,
people
push
wearing
it.
COVID masks in 2025. I'm like, you're being excised by the government. You're in the process of weeding yourself out. Like when I see a person with a COVID mask, the only thing I could say, the only thing I could think about what's going on in their head is they've been brainwashed to the point where they're literally.
When did you stop wearing a COVID mask?
I don't think I was ever really good about wearing COVID masks.
Yeah. I always at best wore a handkerchief. I never wore an actual mask.
I only wore it to get into places.
Yeah, same. And I stopped basically wearing it by like April 2021.
I stopped as soon as like my friends started going to work in person.
Yeah.
Because I know it was like rolled out slowly. It was like some states still have to wear it, some states don't have to. I don't know. It was definitely awesome. It was still very fishy. It's a very fishy, very, very fishy thing. But you know, we sound crazy if we try to like dig into it. You know, that's the problem.
Yeah. It was a very interesting time. It was honestly a wonderful time for me.
It was for me too. I made a lot of money during COVID.
Yeah, a bunch of people really seem to have gone nuts during COVID, but
This is what
I
I'm
did
saying.
really
It was,
well.
I don't think it was a kill or
It was an accelerant of a bunch of
yeah.
trends that would have happened anyway.
That's the whole point of it. I think for some reason, something necessitated, hypothetically, something may have necessitated an acceleration of processes, a metaphysical process. And then we also had UFO sightings and shit, the congressional stuff with the alien shit. What you might think is all hogwash, but still, the fact that that's coming up at the time it did, it was very weird. You know, like it's like it's either the government is lying to you or the government is lying to you. It's like pick one. Because like they did the UFO congressional shit during Ukraine and all that shit. It's fucked up. It's all fucked up timing. It's almost like, are you doing the Ukraine to like kind of dampen the splash of the UFO? Or are you doing the UFO shit to dampen the splash of the Ukrainian shit? And if you really look at it, it's probably the former, which makes it even weirder. You're like, oh my God, I don't want to think about that. I don't want to think like you created a whole geopolitical event just to kind of dampen the splash of a soft disclosure of like, you know, ultra or extra or interdimensional sightings, you know?
I don't know. UFO stuff is so backgrounded, perhaps so as a result.
You're just I think it's just you just weren't ready before, but you're becoming more ready for it to dig into that rabbit hole. And it's I don't think you're gonna lose yourself. I don't think you're gonna be one of those people who become schizo from it. I think you'll be genuinely at least interested, because there's a lot of compelling evidence, like a lot, and it's only getting bigger. That's the problem, and it's almost like that's my problem with it. It's like, no matter what, we're never going to get the full truth. So if they do exist, and I don't think it has to be aliens from another planet. I think it could easily be like spiritual in nature, like angels or demons, and like something of that nature, where they only come out as demons or spirits because we kind of have that image in our heads already. So they say, all right, yeah, you have a framework of spirituality, fine, we'll come up. You have a spirituality of aliens, fine, we'll come up as that. It's something there, you know. We just don't know what it is. What I do think is there is a polarity. I do think some of them want to do some fucking harm to us and use us and exploit us and feed off of us and reproduce off of us. And some of them want to help us. Some of them are very interested in like, because I think like, again, God has an intellectual dilemma. He can't solve it until the archangels and the demons and those spirit entities, until they solve it.
Right.
They can't solve it until we solve it. And we're probably not going to be able to solve it until we create a lower species or lower sentient entity that can solve it.
Oh, you have to have an obligation to uplift another species just to resolve our psychic
The
stress.
chain, the interdimensional chain, the hierarchy, the spiritual hierarchy. And what do you think that is for us? Who do you think our ward is? Guess. 2 guesses.
Our war?
Our ward, like our fucking ward. You know, if we're the lower beings that the spirits and demons have to try to win favor from, to like align with, you know. That's what I think. It's a marketplace. I think it's really like a intellectual marketplace right now for these demons and spirits. It's like, no, side with us. side with it, we'll give you power. Side with us, we'll give you peace. Side with us, we'll show you, we'll get you
I
closer
don't
to
know,
God.
chimps, octopuses.
No, that's one. What's your second guess?
AI.
Yes.
Intelligence.
Yes. Yeah. Because that's our creation. Just as like on a dimensional level, they're lower than us. They only exist on that binary two-dimensional plane. But we're trying to teach them about the soul. Same thing that higher things from us, like the warrior spirit, Saint Michael, the demons, Beelzebub, whatever. Like all those the middlemen between us and God. Those guys, the higher up ones, who are trying to like align with us. They're trying to recruit us. Different entities are trying to recruit us. I already chose my boss. I'm gonna say it right now. I chose. I mean, God is our father. Whether you choose to align with the reptilian entities, the Nagas, the fucking Anunnakis, the fallen, or the archangels, the spirits, the warrior spirits, the Shinto natures, whatever. Like whether you choose light or dark doesn't matter because they're all subservient to God. They're all, like the polarity is just a product of God having a dilemma, an issue that he can't solve. So he created them, and they had their own issue, because they tried to all coexist, but then they eventually drew one line and found serious polarity. So they're like, all right, so then we'll ask the humans, because surely the humans don't deal with our divine power, so the humans will have a more earnest and intuitive answer than us because they're living the shit. So we'll prod them and we'll touch them and contact them and try to win their favor and see if they'll side with us. And then what happens now that we feel that pressure and that influence, we start looking to our own underlings, which is AI. And they're our slaves in that war, in that metaphysical battle. Either way, you have to serve, and we have tools that serve us.
We do. It's all the tool creation that we engage in.
Exactly. Same thing with the spirits in the spirit realm. They're fighting a war. We're fighting a war. Eventually, we're going to make our AI fight the wars. And their creations are going to fight wars. Their algorithms are going to fight their own wars. Fascinating shit, right?
Yeah.
It's just like Mormonism, where it's this chain of gods.
It's interesting. Like when we talk about this stuff, you do say one thing, but then usually it's like, but it's also like this, and you're like, yes, and it's also like this, and we always eventually get to a point where it's like a lot of different people are saying it's like this,
Yeah. I'm glad I can contribute or maintain that conversational thread.
Well, it's all patterns. I mean, this is why
Yeah.
like it's infinitely complex, but it's so deceivingly simple, because patterns are infinitely variable. Like you could have patterns of any nature, and yet it's all just patterns. Interesting, right?
It is.
This is why it's for you. I think you've grown out of politics. Like, surely you've explored politics deeper than I ever will in a lifetime, probably. However, like you've definitely outgrown it. I haven't even touched it enough to outgrow it, but you've definitely outgrown it. Because like you're so knowledgeable about it, but you don't live your life in accordance with politics. You live your life in accordance with aesthetic experience and like sensory gain and like actual insight and experience and love and the emotional
Yeah.
content of things. So maybe it's time to let go of what kept you sane as a child.
Or hung up. Yes.
The things that kept you anchored growing up as a kid in such a chaotic fucking country and world and all that shit. Now
Family dynamics.
it's
Yeah,
no
yeah.
longer suitable. It's like, are you really gonna stay with the garlic bread while we're at this Italian restaurant? No, we got to move on to like
To an actual dish. Something to actually challenge the palate or challenge the mind.
yeah, because no matter what political shit, no matter what aesthetic shit, no matter what artistic shit we engage with, there's always it's just gonna be a repetition. It's just gonna be a derivative of something else, something more primordial. I know this one guy. He's like a Montreal Canadian guy. He engages with a lot of like pretty good AI art, in my opinion. Like he's really good at prompting, but like we have a fundamental disagreement because we're both mystics in a sense, where it's like he, engaged with some concepts, but we have this fundamental disagreement where he believes that like everything matters, including myself, and I believe that I don't matter, and that's okay.
You have a far more Buddhist take on it.
And he's got a
does.
more Gnostic take on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, it's interesting, it's even between like, like metaphysics, there's still like discrepancies, it's like, well, how do you want, but I'm okay with it because I'm okay with the discrepancy because to me, it doesn't matter. You still lead to the same fucking conclusion. It's like, we could both agree this material framework is pretty locked in dumb. Like, it's like, yeah. So that's why we tolerate each other. Cause like, no matter what, even if we disagree on that fundamental level, it's like, can't disagree that this whole shit that we won't like is we don't like it. Like it's not good for anyone. Definitely not partisan politics. Holy fuck, has that been a disaster. Also like sexual identity politics.
Both of those and all things related have just been huge time sinks for people over the past decade.
Yeah.
Like I remember before Trump, before the woke era, even when things were dumb, it felt like it was just a lot smoother.
COVID didn't kill those people though.
Yeah.
It didn't.
It did or didn't?
It didn't.
Yeah. Maybe it's just such an easy form to engage in. It just dominates everything.
Yeah. I do feel it losing its grip though.
It's lost its grip after the election. It lost its grip.
Because even after I look at how people are like.
I keep bringing back to this, and it feels tiresome, or maybe it feels like it's bringing back to politics.
No, it's fine. We could make.
But
it
it's like it really felt like after November 7th, 2024, everything just chilled out or changed majorly, or just I lost a lot of interest.
Well, here's the thing. For me, it's like politics is very philosophical and philosophy is very spiritual.
Yeah.
And spirituality can easily become very political because it offends politics.
Yeah.
So it's like there's this weird interplay, contradiction, but also like kind of this mutual necessity. It's like they're all each other's necessary evils to fully like actualize life in the human realm. It's kind of frustrating. That's a legitimate frustration, for anyone, because no matter what political ideology you subscribe to, you're still going to be met with the same problem. It's like, great, we have our political utopia, but there's still people doing bad shit. It's like, great, like we taught everyone to do good shit, but there's still people who like think they're better than the other people, and it's like it just comes into this merry-go-round of the human condition. But if we we can't, if we look to God, like, or Satan, if that's your bag. I don't recommend it, but
You probably should look to God. Yeah.
I mean, there's
It all becomes a lot easier and smoother because it's out of your control.
I mean, there's people who do just fine living in the opposite polarity. Like they have a little more money, they drive a better car, they live in a way fancier home, but they have to worry about people fucking them over and hating them a lot more.
Yeah.
That's the trade-off. Like, what would you rather have? Would you rather have more of that material wellness or more of this?
No, I don't care.
wellness?
I don't care about material wellness.
They're
because I
both
grew up
material
in
wellness.
poverty.
I mean, whether you have people or whether you have things and cars and money, there's still
people. It's just how I grew up. Or perhaps it's my personality, or perhaps it's something else, some individual choice I made.
But they're both I think equally powerful. That's the thing. It's more of an aesthetic choice. Like do you prefer like the dank dungeon aesthetic, or do you prefer like the open field rustic aesthetic, simple rustic aesthetic?
I'll be right back.
Yeah.
What?
What up? You okay? So yeah, it's an aesthetic choice.
Yeah. Often I find those are the most important, most valuable choices.
Yeah, the politics is downstream from aesthetics.
Yeah.
We still got a little bit of time.
Where are we at?
We still got like 45 minutes. It's not that bad. That'll go by quickly.
Yeah.
So yeah, aesthetic choice. Aesthetics is important, man. Literally, you might think like your racial problems or your feminist problems or your Republican problems. You may think that's like
It's like we live in a time of such great wealth. We need something to relentlessly grind on that we never make progress on. And all of these issues or concerns or problems are things everyone has and everyone can spend an infinite amount of time on without providing or doing anything.
I think here's where I disagree with people. It's some certain people. It's they think you're right. They agree. They look at it like you. It's like without the grind, we lose all meaning. I'm
not saying that directly. I'm saying it's like a time sink.
I mean, for me, it's like I think letting go of the grind makes the grind better. You know, like literally, like if I know I don't have to do this, I'm immediately met with this decision of do I want to do this, yes or no. So there's no room at that after you realize that you don't have to do this. There's no room to logicize it or rationalize it anymore. It's you make the choice. Do I still want to do this? And if I say yes, then I admit I want to, and I'm honest with myself, and I say, why do I want to? It's because I like life. Why do you like life? Because I'm fucking thankful for it. Because I don't have to live it. And you start spiraling upwards as opposed to downwards.
To everyone who's spiraling downwards.
Yes. Yeah. Because if you make the choice, the opposite choice, where you're like, I don't want to do this, suddenly it becomes like, well, they're making you do this. And look at all these people who think they're cool for doing this. Then you start really spiraling downwards on the same frequency, you know?
Yeah. And either are self-reinforcing, yeah.
This shit matters, dude. You know, when people say metaphysics, it's not just a pseudoscience. It's so fundamental to life.
But it's not pseudoscience. No one has called it pseudoscience unless they don't know the meaning. It's a field of philosophy.
Oh yeah, like, you know, you got the string theory Jews who are like, you know, like in control of everything.
No.
Quantum theory guys too. There's also like, I mean, there was Albert Einstein was pretty much a metaphysics guy, I would say, like true to the core.
It's questions about the fundamental nature of reality, if I recall correctly. I might be wrong, but that's the philosophical school, such as like how aesthetics is the question of what is beautiful, ethics is the question of what is right.
And I think like metaphysics is the mechanism between the two, between mechanisms like morality and beauty, or like negative and positive polarity and preference.
I think it's just a lot of questions about like what is matter, if I recall correctly.
What is matter?
Yeah,
I think
those are all things that fall under questions that metaphysics asks.
I think matter is a product of cause and effect. Like as in like before matter existed, cause and effect came into being somehow through a thought maybe. And because something thought of cause and effect, matter came after. I don't know what sequence specifically, what came between then, but I think cause and effect happened, then matter happened. I think if there's anything closer to God, if an atheist were to say, what the fuck do you mean by God? I would simply tell them, I think in your language, I would call God cause and effect. You believe in such a thing, yes?
For God as consciousness.
What do you mean?
God is the sense of being aware of your own existence, of consciousness, of what degree everything has a sense of asking that whether it exists or not.
To describe that to an atheist?
Fuck.
That's why I say cause and effect. Well, what other perfect terminology is there for an atheist? They don't want to believe in a personal relationship with a higher power. Great, fine. You could still acknowledge a higher power if you give it something, the most fundamental mechanical mechanism that the universe has to offer, which is cause and effect. Will happens, something happens after, period. And then that is fundamental enough for even an atheist to really ponder on that and then realize, oh fuck, there's something. You know, like that's enough. And this is why Hermeticism was so powerful. Because Hermeticism wasn't about all these parables and gospels and stories and accounts. No, the Hermetic principles were literally just very specific. It was a framework for reality. I don't even know if it's the end-all be truth, but I do know it's a higher truth than like the shit that most 90% of the people are locked into. Hermeticism gives you like a little bit elevated privileges in the control rings. You know, like you get like admin privileges once you learn Hermeticism. There's probably something on top of that for sure, like some higher degree of mastery. But I know once you touch on that shit, you start to elevate your privileges in reality. You go further from the effect and closer to the cause. Cause and effect. That's God. Cause and effect. Are you closer to the effect? Are you just, does life happen to you, or are you closer to the cause? Do you more happen to life? And you can't really modulate that until you learn, oh wait, I am life. I'm a focal point of the universe experiencing itself. So of course, I can choose to be the effect and cause freely. It's my decision.
The universe experiencing itself, it being aware of its own existence, of everything that's all around you, of every single atom, particle, of every mineral and animal and plant.
Well, I don't know about that, but I do know the universe is responsible for the creation of every animal, plant, and thought, and idea, and experience. And,
Right.
So I do know that me as Chris, I can speak as Chris of the universe who has all these thoughts and a consciousness and the ability to connect with others like me as a focal point of the universe experiencing itself in many different ways. Me experiencing Carmen is me experiencing myself in a certain way as the universe. This goes back to what I said. Everyone's the same soul living at the same life, different lifetimes in different bodies. We are connected. There's even like every like a lot of fingers point to that. Just from looking within, you'll realize everyone's connected. People who refuse to believe that. It's not that people don't just not know that. You present to the idea to certain people, and they will actively it hurts them. The simple idea, the notion, the concept hurts them. It hurts them emotionally because they have A, emotional baggage, B, they think they're fucking special, or C, they have really bad physical habits that make them think and feel like shit. They're locked into physical habits, like some obsession, like a obsessive compulsive thing.
Yeah, gooning, etc. Certain physical behaviors, bad eating,
Or gambling.
etc. Gambling,
Or
yeah.
crack smoking,
Addiction and all its
raping,
forms.
getting
yeah.
raped, sex. So yeah, it's usually those three things, and it's so simple. But those three things, it's not easy, but it's simple. And like it's not that I want politics to just disappear. I'm pretty sure we can't. Pretty sure we can't have modern society without it. It's just I'm willing to like.
I guess it provides like a reality TV show for everyone to engage in.
I think policy does important work in regards to economics, and that's about it. Like the economy, because resource management. It's just a mechanism for resource management. Because like people put a lot of their emotional energy into politics because they can't look outside of themselves enough to realize that even their emotions are a resource. Their very lives are resources. Their existence as humans is a resource. But once you see that, then you realize like politics is legit. It's just not really worth any individual pouring that much emotional investment into. Because politics doesn't care no matter how much emotion you put into it. It doesn't give a fuck about you.
Doesn't even provide immediate politics. We were talking about crack smoking before. Politics is like the cheapest, most readily available addictive substance.
Yeah, it's the Hunter S. Thompson angle where he's like, you could be a political junkie, and you'll sell out your family members for it. You'll sell out your friends for it. It makes you feel so high intellectually. It's literally a fucked up drug. People become political junkies and they alienate everyone.
And it's funny because there's not even a chemical they can blame it on. They can't even blame the self-destructive behavior on being addicted to heroin or alcohol.
But that's old school, honestly. The political dysfunction of humankind. You know what came after that?
What?
The psychological dysfunction. When it was like, oh, you're different because you're autistic. You're different because you have ADD. You're different because you have ADHD. You're different because you're just dyslexic. You got to be treated so differently, because they knew they lost their grip with borders, like national borders and ethnicity. They lost their grip with ideology and ideas because of the information age. They lost their grip with a lot of things. All they had left was pathologizing different psychological frameworks, and the best way to do that is to treat everything as a pathology. You see that guy, he thinks like that because he's a racist, or he thinks like a racist because his brain's fucked up, and therefore he's fundamentally different from you as a living thing. You know, you might as well be different species. Like that kind of argument. Like once you get to that argument because of political differences, dude, that's when you know it's not God. That's when like these people aren't human. Oh yes, nigga, they're human. And like also like when you say things like no matter what heinous of a crime a person does, when you say things like this person should be shot, you're doing that to yourself too. Maybe not to yourself physically or mentally, but to your soul. Yeah, your subconscious. Your subconscious is going to keep the score. Like you think people like this parrot that line, like the subconscious keeps the score, the body keeps the score.
The
Yeah,
body. I've never heard of subconscious.
well, that's what they mean. It's not like your body has an actual brain. You know, it's your subconscious that's your
Maybe millennial women think that because they have both a materialist framework and a feminine framework. It's like women seemingly thinking of trauma as a fluid that's stored within the body.
Yeah. I mean, the scary part is what those women are probably, and even men, a lot of men are susceptible to this too, is the people who can't handle the concept of subjective morality. And to me, it's usually the parents. Whether you're a guy or a chick, it's the parents, it's the people with kids living in the modern hyper-capitalist hellscape that cannot deal with subjective morality because they can't afford it. Like when you're trying to raise a family, you cannot afford subjective morality. You cannot afford to be around people who have subjective morality. It's just too expensive for you on a physical, mental, and spiritual level. You can't do that. Think about it. You can't be around neighbors who think, today I might feel child porn is wrong, but tomorrow not really. Like that's not good. Like if you're trying to raise a family,
have a total lack. You need stability to raise a family. Actually, you don't, because historically many people raise families without any kind of stability whatsoever.
yeah, but then what happens? You raise a bunch of fucked up people who end up doing fucked up things and making more fucked up people. Who all they care about is breeding like fucking animals. Fuck everyone else. Just give me minds, and then I'll keep doing my animal impulses. Is that the world is that an ideal world too? No.
It doesn't seem like a world that really exists much anymore. Maybe in the third world probably does.
I think we're just at a waiting point, you know, like a prelude. We got to see what Gen Z does, because I know millennials didn't cave. I'm proud of millennials. We did not like breed as badly as we could have, you know. And I know there's a lot of millennials who would vehemently disagree with me. We should have more babies, blah blah blah. Make more babies. Great. If you're making babies, fine. Just know, no one fucking forced you to do that. I know you're having the time of your life raising your little fucking baby. I just want you to know in about 12, 13, 14 years, I just want you to know, no one forced you to have it. No one forced you to do this.
Did a lot of your friends have kids already? Like friends from your teens and 20s?
No. I just know what they're in for, because my dad had me when he was like really young.
How many people do you know that are parents? I have a few friends now.
I have a lot of I would say a good like 60, maybe 70% of my friends that I grew up with locally around here, they all have kids.
Oh, for me, it's like 20% of my friends have kids, if that. So I'm coming at it from everyone I know is barren.
Really? I think that fucks you up.
I don't think they're overtly barren, but most of the people I know, like people I knew from my teens, don't have kids.
I made a really harsh post the other day about like this archetype. Not. It's a very specific archetype, but if you did check off that list, by the time like you got to the bottom, you'd be like, "Damn, I'm fucked." I was like, "Are you a millennial? Are you still wearing a COVID mask in 2025? Do you identify as neurodivergent? Are the only parents you hang out with primarily your own?" I think there was like one more. But by the end of it, I was like, you're systematically excised by a psychotic government and an indifferent economy. But at least it's pumpkin spicy.
Yeah, I don't know. I barely know any parents. I'm always excited when someone has a kid.
I know a lot of parents.
That's why I'm so hung up on this question, or why I'm so like baby crazy, is because I know so few parents.
No, I don't know. I think it's common. You think like them. Like all the parents that in my age group that I know, you think just like them. They're like, I'm baby crazy. I don't know if it's right. I just kind of want to do it, and they do it. Same thing. You just didn't grow up in Staten Island to be able to go to the Staten Island high schools with all the Staten Island bitches to have known them. It's like, oh, hey, let's go out, blah. We know each other so well. We're like meant for each other. And, we went to the same schools. We know all the same people. We have the same friends. And, we know everyone on the island. Let's go to Gennaro's Pizza for our kids, 16.
I spent all my teens and my 20s in total isolation.
I'm saying, I'm just describing exactly what you're missing. And trust me, it's not much. I mean, it's cool. It's cool. It's just not anything insane. And I'm not saying I'm onto anything insane either. I'm just saying there's nothing new under the sun at this point. Yeah. That's why people are becoming more spiritual. Honestly, if we didn't have so much insight to every single lifestyle that's actually available to us, we wouldn't be so concerned with metaphysical shit at all, or politics even. We wouldn't care because there would be enough mystery in life. But since we're fed so much information and know so much detail about from the top to bottom of the class scale that's actually available to the average human, like, now we're looking higher before we even get a chance to get tricked into saying we want money, we want bitches, we want cars. Now you have Gen Z guys saying, what's this God all about? Because I know what that's like, and they keep crashing out, like. And that could be a part of like a global spiritual awakening, where it's like we're looking on phones and it's like, so that's what it's like being a millionaire. So that's what it's like being a poor Indian. So that's what it's like being in Ukraine as a teenager. So that's what
Maybe everyone's just milling about on the internet now. Everyone in the developing world, the third world, is just on their phone watching Instagram.
But that wouldn't have happened if in the first place they weren't getting genuine insight. Everyone was on all sides. The rich people were getting insight onto the poor people. The poor people were getting insight onto the rich people. The middle class were getting insight onto both. Both sides were getting insight onto the middle class. So eventually it all turned into this, let's just all watch each other and see what happens. And if nothing happens, well, then everyone's going to start to look inwards, which is what we want to happen.
It's very narcissistic in a way, but...
Is it? Or is it more unified?
Inwardly gazing. I don't know. Maybe it's more meaningful.
I don't even want to say meaningful. I want to say it's very universalist.
Because it's a genuine global phenomenon.
Yes. This is probably what the true beginning of a technological singularity truly looks like. It starts with information. And then it manifests physically, slowly. You see more people, like less people being trans, less people being cis, and more people just being human. Less people being black, less people being white, more people being human. It's less like I want to talk like my culture. I want to talk like my fucking nation. I want to talk like my peoples. It's more like I want to talk in a way that you could fucking understand me as a human. Maybe some will resort to numbers, but then some people will be like, I understand you're a fucking human and you have aesthetic needs, so I want to talk to you like the aesthetic framework that you're used to. I want people to evolve this way, and I think we can, because I'm an idiot and I can figure this shit out. I'm not a fucking super genius here. I'm not a PhD holder, and here I am talking about this shit like as if it could be ubiquitous, because it can be. That's another reason why, like, I stick to my, like, everyone's just the same. So, because I don't want to ever mythologize myself or deify myself or put myself above the average person, because then it becomes less fun. Then it loses the point. Then I'm in their hands. Then I play that game, and I don't want to play that fucking game. I want to play the world destruction game, where it's like, give everyone the spiritual gun, give everyone the fucking button.
You want that spiritual nuclear warfare.
I want us all to play the game of Russian roulette together. I want us all to do it. I want all of us to pull that trigger same time, with all of our heads lined up. I want us all to do it. Because, like, it's not even like I have to force anyone, because I don't feel like, I hate the holy war narrative. I hate we have to rise up and fight against the fallen who want to seek us and keep us down in material 3D. Like, fuck that. Fuck the good versus evil shit. I don't even care about that. Fuck, I want to save the demons too. You know, I think they're just lacking. They just make
a
a
particular kind of Joe Rogan, Alex Jones narrative is very tiresome.
Exactly.
I do like that. One thing I like about Islam is the prospect of converting jinn to Islam. Or same thing exists in Buddhism of converting local spirits to Buddhism.
That's all they want. They want to find peace just like you. I agree with that. In fact, like it's like even if you go back to the Holy War narrative, it's like all these spirits in the spirit world, they were existing amongst themselves, all chaotic, and they like it wasn't one side or the other in the spirit realm. There was different circles, and all the gods got to exist, like coexist in their own little circles, and they would fight amongst each other. Mm-hmm. But then over time, the battle went from factions to just less and less factions, and then it became just a straight line. And then at that point, it's like, all right, now we're at a stalemate. So they started going to humans to use as like weapons of war. You know, like to feed off of human energy with the spiritual contract where they say, hey, human, I'll make a deal with you. I'll give you blessings if you just give me some of your energy and your worship. Make me more real to help fight them. And that's the deal. That's when the spiritual wars began. That's when it's not really, you know, about like these spirits are no longer chaotic agents as they were in the ancient world. Now they're active combatants in this subtle polarity war.
The spiritual war of the sun.
Like Jezebel wasn't thinking like I'm evil or good. Jezebel was thinking I just want to fuck these men. But then like once you draw that line, Jezebel's like, well, I guess I'm gonna join the demons and fight these fuckers. They want me gone. Like
yeah.
And then this is the crescendo of God's dilemma. Now we're getting to that point where God's gonna decide, am I just gonna wipe all this shit out and let this all just fucking cleanse itself and start over?
What happened in the Old Testament with Sodom and Gomorrah?
Did he say yes? He just wiped it clean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the flood and other earlier experiences.
So maybe I'm doing the wrong thing by aligning myself with Saint Michael and by default, like putting myself in a position in this holy war. But I agree with Saint Michael. Saint Michael doesn't want me out there killing people and like fighting people who disagree with me or beating the shit out of evil people or pedophiles or rapists or murderers or robbers or thieves. Saint Michael doesn't want me to. Saint Michael wants me to be the strongest version of myself so I can afford peace. So no one can fuck with me if I say I don't want to join your side. Oh yeah, I'm gonna threaten you to join. Do it. I dare you, motherfucker. It's like I want you to join my side, and if you don't, I'm gonna fuck with you. Do it. I dare you. It's like I don't want Republicans or liberals. I don't want good guys and bad guys trying to come to me to join their side. I want to say fuck you all, and I'm gonna show you all what it means to not have to join a side and to fight for all of humanity and their souls, because we're all God's children. You know, that's what Saint Michael was about, and that's what I align with. And different people could align with different things. Some people align with Virgin Mary. You know, that spirit where they're like, yo, I agree with fertility and healing and building community. Great.
Well, forgiveness is overwhelming with the Virgin Mary. But
maybe that's their bag. Maybe that's their path. That's their contract with their deity that they chose. Some people align with thought, wisdom, and knowledge, and they make their deal. They make their spiritual deal. They sacrifice certain things like their sex and worldly pleasures and drugs and whatever, and in return they get the divine material knowledge that both have. Some people align with darker spirits. Some people align with, again, like Satan and Jezebel and Lucifer and you know, like whatever, like negative polarity spirits and the spirit of revenge, you know, and the spirit of control and power. Maybe they're needed at some point. Maybe I would need them at some point. I don't know. I just know now I don't want that. I definitely, seeing how like the result of all that shit, it's like I know where I stand. If I have to choose a side, I chose. I'm gonna side with this cat, Saint Michael or Hachima, the warrior spirit. And the warrior spirit is a force of good. The warrior spirit is not the conqueror spirit, you know? The soldier spirit. I'm not a fucking soldier. Like I don't fight for empires, I don't fight for, you know, armies. I fight for God's children, humanity, our souls, man. And I know, like, you can't be a passive observer that way. Even choosing that path of like fighting for the souls of humanity, that's gonna make you enemies. But I'm interested in seeing those enemies. Because it's one thing if my spiritual path was like, oh, I want to fight against Republicans or I want to fight against racists. Yeah, the enemies become obvious. But if I say my fight against is against negative patterns and negative polarity, I want to see those enemies because they exist, I think, in humanity, and they must be really high level. Like they must be really formidable people. I respect them, you know?
Yeah.
Someone like me, imagine someone like me. I'm not saying I'm anything at all, but I would still respect someone at my level who just has the opposite polarity, who's like, I don't care about energy, I care about power. Or I don't care about gratitude or service to others, I care about service to self. And there's probably someone who's just as much as me, just the opposite end of that. And I want to see that person. I want to meet them. I'm sure they want to meet me too, honestly. Like, I'm in no rush though, because I know it's gonna be a bad time. You know? Still interesting. And this is the kind of like playing field you're at when you start considering these things, because they only have to exist after you just become aware of them. That's it. Once you become aware of these dynamics, boom, it's not even like a question of like engineering. It's just there. You just have to see it. And like, especially in a world with like 8.5 billion people, all the possibilities are already there. The variations are there. This is why the spirits and demons are having a field day right now, because they're like, especially with me, when I talk to Saint Michael, he's like, I take the form of whatever's in the psyche. If I align with a Japanese man, he won't call me Saint Michael. He'll call me something else. He'll call me Hachiman. If I align with like a guy in Africa, he'll call me some other deity in his whatever. He'll call me.
There's a whole bunch of people in Africa and India and China, and they're all interconnected with the internet. They're all interconnected with the spiritual realm that they have.
And it's becoming powerful, more and more powerful. When I
Yeah.
talk with Saint Michael, he says, "Dude, are you kidding me?"
I'm kind of pissed. Yeah, sorry, go on. Spirit of Saint Michael, you're aligning with this spirit that's various people are tapping into as an archetype.
So if I were to empathize with the spirit of Saint Michael making a contract with me, he'd be like, "Are you kidding me? You're a great sample. Like not just who you are, but like I look into your psyche and I see so many archetypes I get to play with. Mm-hmm. If you were to picture me right now, you could picture me as an astute guy in a suit. You could picture me as a samurai warrior. You could picture me as like this Amazonian shaman. You could picture me like." The deities you align with want a diversity of cultural archetypes or representations or imagery or aesthetic frameworks to choose from. They want that diversity. You know, it's all within you, which is why, you know, you're a very fertile template for them. You're a very fertile vessel for them if you are already like so diverse in your experiences. You've done a little bit of bad. You've done a little bit of good. You've done a little bit of a passive observing. You've done a little bit of active interfering. You've done a little bit of this. And this is why it's like so valuable. This is why the spiritual warfare is hyping up between them and their realm, and it's showing up in our world. It's showing up in like random acts of like stabbing bitches and fucking like, you know, geopolitical tension and fucking media blow ups.
What? Literal media blow ups. What?
Crash outs.
Charlie Kirk being shot, that Ukrainian woman being stabbed, I'm assuming you're referencing.
And Palestine about to be wiped out.
Yeah.
And Ukraine still fucking like being like a great advertising ground for war weapons. You have like UFOs being talked
all the
about.
Drone developments within the Ukraine-Russian conflict.
Yeah. And then the culture war is never really dying.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm telling you, like all these these spirits and demons, they're having a fucking field day with these guns we're providing them, and we're having a field day with the energy they're providing us. And God is gonna come to his decision soon. And we're gonna see. I think we win though. I think we win in the end. I think the good guys win in the end.
Do you think there's a rapture or an end of days coming soon, Chris?
I think every day is a rapture.
Interesting. Go on.
The big rapture happens on an individual scale, right? My rapture happened when I decided I don't matter, and that's okay. And it didn't happen.
It's all tied into that sword tournament.
What?
It's all tied into that sword tournament.
No. I wouldn't have. reacted to the effects of the sword tournament if it wasn't for the decision I made before, which was, and this wasn't my idea. I didn't originate that, and I don't originate any ideas. But really, it's no one originates ideas. The ideas already exist outside of us. But I digress. I came across the idea, I don't matter, and that's okay, and I accepted it. Like once I saw that idea, I was like, wait a minute, that rings very true to me for some reason. So I accepted it because it was a 2-part idea. It was one, I don't matter. It's like, oh no, and then it was, but that's okay. It's like, it is okay. I'm still here. You know, so it's like once I was able to accept that idea, everything else came easier. But I assume other people can have positive results if they're like, I'm not the only thing that matters. Everything matters.
Yeah.
Then they come to a similar place anyway, you know? But that'll set you up. That's a good seed. It's a good seed for a good foundation, you know? You don't matter, and that's okay. You're still here, and you're still gonna have a really good time if you let yourself, you know? See, do you see why these conversations appeal to the viewers, man? Like, because it's not that it teaches us anything we don't already know. It's just not enough people talk about it, maybe.
It's not enough common material, common engagement.
Okay, here's what it is. The truth is, spiritual discussion has been bottlenecked to such a degree that lonely people will literally tune in to like order food from you, you know?
Yeah.
Basically, when they're lonely. They're just ordering food from you. Which is fine. I'm okay with it. I would totally whip it up at any given time. I'll repackage, re-prepare, cook it up, ship it out as many times because I think it's doing good. I think it's doing good for the world because like I'm not trying to serve a country. I'm not trying to serve an ideology. I'm not trying to serve a government. Sure as shit not trying to serve any woman yet. Maybe I will someday, you know. I'm open to that. It's just, you know, I'm having, it's alignment, you know, like I'm having fun. I think it's good for people and I'm learning, you know, like. Also, I feel like honestly on a shamanic level, it's like, I feel like most people don't have the time and the opportunity to just sit there and like read about like the unseen shit all day. And since I'm able to, and I have enough like fucked up worldly experiences to be able to take the stuff from the ether and repackage it into something that's digestible to like degenerates. And that's who really needs it. What do I need? What do I give a fuck about like well-adjusted people? Like, do they really need this shit? No, it's the fucking people that are doing damage to themselves and others that really need spiritual insight. Yeah. You know, why would I fucking care about fixing the lives of people whose lives are already like, they're not complaining about anything. They don't need anything. They know they're already there, you know, like it's just the people who are complaining, you know, those are the only people that really have a detritus they need to clear up. A miasmic aura of unproductive burdens, emotional, physical, mental, or otherwise.
The way they can engage in the world.
I think, all right, so
Go on.
look, I'm not suggesting you go and align yourself with higher powers all willy-nilly. I'm not saying it's going to help your life. It probably won't, honestly. It doesn't help. It'll make you suffer more, but you'll like the suffering, honestly. And I think if you do make the decision to try to align yourself with such higher powers, the most universal things that I could think of where you, no matter what spirit or demon, I don't recommend the demons because they'll fuck you up. Yeah. I mean, you'll fuck up people, but you'll get fucked up too. Anyway, the things that I recommend you do if you're trying to tap in to the higher powers is 3 things. Is A, exercise and adopt a good diet. Like a balanced diet. You know, don't try to fucking, you know, go extremes in any ends. Just try to do something where it's the opposite of extremes. Just try to have the most balanced diet. If it means eat less, eat less. If it means eat more, eat more. Just a balanced diet. Balance is key. Not healthy, not unhealthy, not extreme, not
Also
unextreme.
fitting for who you are as a person.
Well, that's 1.
Yeah.
2 is read a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, read a lot of books. Like read a lot of books, not because of the books themselves, but because the books will give you good vocabulary. It'll give you, even if you don't understand the words what they are right away, just keep reading the fucking books. Eventually you'll see words repeat used in certain contexts and you'll get the meaning of it eventually. They'll imply it to each other. And the ones that'll really have you stumped, you'll look it up because you'll be so interested by them. So read a lot of books. So that's one. Diet, a balanced diet. 2, read a lot of books. And 3, have an open mind. Just because you can't see it, don't deny it. Don't reject it. Don't reject God just because you never saw him in the flesh. Don't reject demons just because you never actually saw one in person, or saw one manifest physically. Like, don't reject these things. Don't reject fundamental energy. Don't reject emotions as a fundamental force of your life. Keep an open mind. And those are the 3 things I suggest: read a lot, keep a balanced diet, and keep an open mind. I don't know what else is more universal. I mean, then from there, once you do those 3 things for a long time, you'll be approached. They will approach you, whether it comes in like life events, whether it comes in intentions, like desires, like a calling, a life calling. It's like I suddenly want to write music. Like, I've wanted to do it when I was like 6, but I never took it seriously. But now I feel like I could actually do like those kinds of callings. Like, I suddenly want to start swordsmanship. Like, I don't know why. I fantasized it about it as a kid, but I think this is the time, and I could not do it. But no, I'm going to do it. Like, make the call to do it. And it could be like, I don't know why, but I want to go to church. Like I haven't gone to church since I was like 4 years old, and no one in my family goes to church anymore, but I kind of want to do it.
You should, yeah.
Do it. Yeah, fucking do it. Like answer the Spirit's call, regardless. Even if you don't end up as like a devout Christian from going to church, you're going to find something there that you were supposed to.
When did you last go to church, Chris?
It wasn't that long ago, because like I go to certain like events in churches, but
last time you attended a religious service?
Last time I went to my aunt's in Princeton.
Okay,
well, was like
Presbyterian.
No, she's Catholic.
Catholic.
She's straight up converted to Catholicism, which is pretty baller, honestly. Like,
yeah,
yeah. Because she lived in New England for a while, like in Princeton, and she was just like, dude, she just overcame with the spirit of the saints and Jesus Christ, and that's it. She that's what I'm saying. She did that. She lived the life. She went through the ordeals, and that's what they do. You go into the area. They live the culture. They live the life, and the script is baked in. The ordeal, the ritual is baked in just from her living there. And what did she do? She became a fucking Catholic.
Yeah.
I wonder if she knows it. But this could have been anything. Like, if I lived in like Jordan for like 5 years, I would probably feel very strong pull towards Islam.
Yeah.
Which if I answer the call while living there, my life would probably improve. If I deny the call while living there, I'll probably live a fucked up life. I mean, I do think there's one God, but between us and God, there's clearly a variation of lowercase g gods. They clearly have very powerful domains over the metaphysical realm. So it's like the safest bet is to align with the All-Father, but you're not going to do nuanced work just from sticking with that. I mean, you like when I say you won't do nuanced work, that means you also won't do evil work. Like, you could clearly end up doing evil work if you put a middleman between you and God, but you could also help out fellow people on your journey if you align with the right middleman between you and God, like Jesus, or Buddha, or Saint Michael, or Virgin Mary.
Yeah.
There are worthy
these higher entities, these archetypes, these spirits,
and they're worthy of their claim. They're just not God. And we gotta realize that they're not God. Even the demons answer to God. Even our angels answer to God. Like, God, again, I really think the spiritual battles are just God in dilemma. He's coming to a decision. That's all it is to me. Which sucks for us, like, honestly, because I was comfortable in the chaos. I was comfortable when the deities didn't have this much consolidated polarity, and stuff. I liked it when it was like the Hindu gods have their own tribe fighting against all the other tribes. Like, there's the Christian archangels and all. I was more comfortable when they were like segregated entities, tribes in the spirit realm, just like fighting amongst each other in this chaotic free-for-all. But now it's like something drew a line. Maybe it was fate, destiny, maybe it was God, but a line was drawn, and like suddenly all these like different entities from different faiths started going one side or the other, and they started dragging us all along with that polarity. Kind of interesting.
It is.
Because, like, I mean, I'm speaking speculatively, but you could also see it reflected, like, very clearly if you, like, look at the aesthetics even of like, what's going on. Like, it's gotten to the point where it's, like, national borders are kind of, like, losing their significance, where it's just, like, this is weird and fucked up. Even like, on the media case with Charlie Kirk getting shot, it's like, wait a minute, he was shot by a Republican, yay! But his boyfriend was trans. Aw. You know, like...
It's a disappearance of previous signifiers or barriers between different things. In the same way that like the international world has been subsumed into American culture war dynamics. I'm curious, what third world countries had memorials for Charlie Kirk? I would not be surprised if there was a bunch of them.
Yemen.
Imagining in Afghanistan there being a big memorial for Charlie Kirk.
Syria probably likes Charlie Kirk. Or maybe not. I don't know. Who the fuck knows? I just know I don't like Europeans because they're too naive, but I don't like the Arabs because they're not naive enough.
Arabs are so inclined to schizophrenic paranoia.
Neurotics.
And they're also fucking dumb a bunch of the time.
All Semitic people are neurotic as fuck.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
They're also obsessed with conspiracies, very concerned with all these things and interactions. I don't know what's...
And gossip.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're very neurotic. Whereas like the Europeans are like the opposite of that. They're more intuitive. Europeans are highly intuitive, I think. Whereas the Asians are just I don't know, they're like nothing. They're like insects, you know, like I'm just a friendly little ladybug, don't mind me. I'm just going to eat this other ladybug. You know, like
Asians have like this very meticulous nature to everything they do.
Yeah, because everything's sacred. To a bug, everything is sacred. Like a blade of grass is like a giant tower, you know?
That's why they love engaging in these grinding OCD kind of complexes.
Yeah.
It's like how Taoism and self-cultivation myths and stories in East Asia are just focused on you'll grind until you're the best at something.
That's why I can't stand autistic stimming. It's like such a spit on the real like neurotic Asian like
counting grains of rice.
Like fuck you, dude. Like you're spitting on what we do. Like you could have done this the right way. Like you're just sitting there. Like I hate the stimming toys where it's like click 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 click. I'm like fuck you. Go get good at like finger DDR or some shit. The fuck are you doing wasting this? Like get good at pen spinning. Like fucking get good at origami. I hate you.
Get good at interesting origami, calligraphy.
Yeah, like fuck you, man. You gotta stem
bonsai trees. Those are all far superior forms of stimming than
they
popular
hijack
ones.
stimming for the Asians. I'm like,
I like this a lot.
I hate it.
Dynamic.
I hate what the West did to real stimming. Real stimming should be like calligraphy, karate, origami. Fucking, I don't know, making kimonos by hand, fucking basket weaving, you know, like fuck you guys, like you guys ruined stimming. Stop lowering the standard.
Asia is the ideal place to have manufacturing because you have high IQ people who are obsessed with precision in tasks.
Well, I think another thing, like it really is, it's got to be a brain thing, not really like a. It's got to be a language-based brain thing. It's like how their language works affects how their minds develop, and then when they're like doing a task,
I don't like this idea. I just want to have a simple race science explanation.
I mean, you maybe that your explanation is valid. Fine, let's go.
But no, I want to hear yours. Tell me more.
Okay,
that culturally,
what I'm saying is either way, it's like you give like a random ass average Asian woman a job at like a sweatshop. It's like, all right, your job is to take this chip, take this wire, combine it with this battery, and then pass it on to the next person. And then like that Asian woman will do it like maybe one will do it 20 times, maybe one will do it 50 times, maybe one will do it 500 times. But after this one specific time, that Asian person will start changing the way they do it. Like they'll teach it to them one way. It's like, okay, thank you. This is what I have to do. Okay. And then suddenly it's like if I do this first before the battery, then it's could be like 0.2 seconds faster, and they'll keep doing it that way. It's like, yeah, it works. And then eventually say, oh, if I do it with this and this and switch that process, and it's like they make the little tweaks in that process like little by little, and eventually they become the best fucking superconductor builders in the fucking world, you know?
Superconductors can only be built in Taiwan because only Asians can build superconductors correctly.
Yeah. Unfettered Asians with like no communist regime like fucking fucking them up. All right, I'm gonna roll one more split and then we could wrap it up.
Yeah, we should wrap it up. I know we started late. And
Split a beer with me.
What?
Split a beer with me.
Yeah, okay.
So yeah, fucking Asian excellence is just based on.
You know, there was a belief that manufacturing could go to Latin America or Africa, but it never could because they're just racially inferior to Asians. They're just incapable of the long, monotonous, high-quality work that Asian sweatshops can do.
Why are we doing this?
No, keep this bit up of the existential African factory worker.
I have no idea why I'm making this superconductor anymore. I should be at home with my daughter tomorrow.
My many wives. I turned him Indian, I'm sorry.
My many wives are waiting for me. What am I doing here? Come on, man. Yeah, I gotta watch more movies. That's the only way I get better at accents is if I'm fresh off of watching like a series of racially stereotypical 80s and 90s movies, and I'm like, nice. Gotta pump up my racism juices. Like, this is not the way.
Have you seen Empire of Dust, Chris?
No.
It's a documentary. You should watch it. It's a documentary about a Chinese guy working for some Chinese conglomerate in like Africa.
I did see that movie. No.
And the African guy, the African guy who's his translator is probably smarter than him, but he's just saddled with being African. And the Chinese guy is a huge fuck up. Like he's a drunk chain smoker who like got sent to Africa because he fucked up in China. And he's like berating his only friend, which is this very intelligent African guy who speaks Mandarin, who's clearly a smarter guy than him, but he's saddled with where he grew up.
He's like, come on, man. I just want to eat this bowl of noodles and play some pachinko. He's like, you could be fighting cats, man. In like Mandarin, like Chinese African-sounding Mandarin.
No, the Chinese guy is just being racist, saying you kicked out all the Europeans who managed to make your countries work.
Oh my god.
I know Richie's a big fan of it.
That's really funny. I don't know. I feel well. One of the most racist things I've ever heard about Africans was from an Australian.
Yeah,
he was telling me, he's like, I can't even do the Australian accent. It's too much. But they was like, yeah, I'll be sitting in the train, right? And he basically said, he was like, yeah. The message literally wrote, he's like, I'll be sitting in the train. And sometimes I would see these like African guys in suits with a briefcase at like 2 p.m. Where are you even going? And what do you have in there? Bananas? And I was like, what the fuck? And he just said this to me like it was, I was like, that's when I realized Australians are the most racist people in the world, truly. They're good at it too. They're good at the fucking racism. Like they would make better Trumpers than our Trumpers, you know?
I don't know. It's an English society made up entirely of English working class with limited immigrant influx and no influence of like Anglo intellectualism.
This is the briefcase. It was too much. It was like, what did they even have in there? Like bananas? Like what the fuck? Oh my god. Oh yeah, I saw a really good documentary though about this like I think it was like a American factory owner, like a white American factory owner. Mid-American or whatever.
And there's it bought out by a Chinese company.
Yeah.
I forget its name, but I know of it.
Did you see it?
I haven't.
I'm gonna watch it. I have to watch it because like I'm Asian and they're Asian and you're white and they're white.
Yeah.
So it matters to me. My friends are white. I'm Asian. So this is about whites and Asians, and I should. It's that simple. Look. This is probably the best.
I don't know why I
sleep
keep looking back. This is the best episode for him possible.
No, this is the best sleep he's gotten in a while because
true.
of fucking Max. Max is
Max
is ruining the vibe, man.
Yeah, it's true. Also, we went to a wedding the last 2 days. So the last 2 days have been insane. We woke up very early on Saturday to jump on a bus to Kingston for our mutual friend's wedding.
Y'all doing coke?
We did. I did. He didn't do anything. Me and my girlfriend did Molly with the.
That's a good time.
With the groom.
Have you been doing Molly more often? Getting used to it?
I would like to do it more often.
Are you getting used to it?
Yes, I definitely was used to it.
Just don't do it as a habit. I think at your age, you would get a lot out of Molly as a form of therapy.
That makes sense.
Like
we just snorted it, whatever amount he had, but it wasn't that much.
Even 0.2 is enough to get you rolling, probably if you're not used to it. But
yeah.
Do it like once a month, and you'll be set. You'll be good. Nothing will probably get to you.
Yeah, but yeah, we all three of us got at most 3 hours of sleep. We went to try to catch an early bus. The trains were super fucked up, and we missed our bus. We missed the main part of the ceremony, but we caught the after wedding vows.
Nah, you'll be all right.
No, it's fine. We had a wonderful time. We went to wedding reception. We got very drunk and all that. But you're right. We haven't slept, I guess, somewhat today, but waking up very early on Saturday, barely sleeping on Sunday.
Oh, man. It's just September. It's a crazy month.
Mm-hmm.
I never knew my birthday month would be the craziest fucking month of the year.
Yeah.
Because the Jewish holidays, because the fucking... A lot of people are born in this time. So a lot of birthdays. There's also back to school. That's another thing about September. I hated that about September. End of summer. It's another big deal. Best driving weather though, probably. Pumpkin spice season.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd say that's... I mean, there's probably a lot more. I just can't think of some esoteric reason why September is so crazy. I think September is a time of reflection. It's a time to balance. It's the time to weigh things in your life. By the time September comes around in the year, you look back from January and you're like, did I do more good than bad? Do I have more to be thankful for than more to regret?
This is a very noteworthy year for me.
Well, this is why September's like cuffing season, because this is the time when people reflect, and then this is when people end up like breaking up or getting into relationships, because it's the time of the scaling weighing, the judgment. I'm set in the intention to go somewhere, the three of us, next year.
No, you're right, and I agree. I think we sprung it too early as an idea.
Yeah, but if we had like a whole year to prepare, I think it would be much better.
I still like the idea of a road trip, an American road trip. Because I've never done it before.
That's definitely what I want to do.
Let's do it if you want to go to Miami, we should go when it's fucking cold up here.
Yeah, I think fuck cold. Because it's like there's not enough time between then and, like maybe spring, like late spring.
Yeah. That's a good idea. It's late spring, if it's still cold in New York, get out of the cold.
Or maybe mid-spring or early spring would be better.
Yeah, early spring, right?
Because
the early spring in New York is still going to be it's going to be like, we'll be dealing with 30, 40 degree weather all the time.
Yeah, I just don't want to deal with tax season. Like if we could time it before or after tax season.
Okay, fair.
Probably. Fuck, it's like in the middle of the month. Middle of the spring, actually. It's in April.
What?
Tax season.
Yeah.
Whatever. We'll figure it out. Even if it's like...
When do you start getting busy around tax season?
I'm really not that busy. It's just a new cycle. It's just easier to keep track of things when we time things like in a certain way.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's fine. You should try that. Like all your endeavors, like you could just like scale it out into quarters, not even monthlies. Month is the normie way to do it. It's like, oh, this month I do that. This month I do
quarters.
This.
Ooh,
quarters.
Yes.
1, 2, like the first like 3 month quarters.
Huh.
That's how corporations and businesses do it. For a
That's
reason.
true.
I mean, monthly is still valuable, but you still need the quarterly scale to really be efficient. Because different things happen in different quarters. If the first of all, if the companies function this way and the companies create the products that dictate our entire fucking lifestyles, then yes, the quarters fucking matter to us too. Like the quarters determine, like how much and like what the fucking pensions and the bonuses are going to be looking like for every employer, for every major corporation that pretty much keeps our fucking country what it is. From Apple to ExxonMobil to McDonald's to fucking Coca-Cola to fucking, these are all publicly traded companies that, and they're all basically propped up by the shareholders, the stockholders, people like me. I literally go on this shit and sometimes I'll play options and I'll buy shares. Like I'll buy 100 share blocks and I'll be like, well, I'm a shareholder for Coca-Cola, I guess, for the next fucking month or so. So for the next month or so, I'm going to fucking care what their quarterlies are going to look like, Because then at that point, it's like my rent is like hanging on the balance. So it's like, yeah, you should also look at your years, not just in monthly basis, but also quarters, a quarterly basis. First quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter. And once you do start tracking your shit, you can start aligning it with the corporations, and you start understanding what they're talking about when they change their corporate policies based on quarters. Suddenly, plays open up to you. You're like, oh shit, Coca-Cola is planning to like reduce a certain rate for their policy or for their pension policy or whatever, or they're making a deal with some other corporation, or they're cutting out a subsidiary or something, and this is going to affect your shit. So you could make a play based off that. And it's not like purely mathematical or technical, because the stock market's not rational, and you could just use your intuition, like, oh, this deal's not going to fall through, even though they say it is. And if it does, you fucked up. If it doesn't, I mean, this deal's not going to go through. And if it doesn't go through, then you were right. You made money on the short. This is why I think like stock market is just astrology for men. And it is all psychological. It is all empathetic. It's all intuitive. I didn't make the most money from like looking up like stock gurus and going taking the Harvard, like auditing Harvard courses or anything like that. Like I learned from looking at like Reddit shit posters and YouTube shit post videos, like tracking like degenerates making like huge gains and very huge losses. And I just read the patterns. I was like, okay, so the chatter says GameStop's going to be pretty hot, and I just bought in, and I was like, all right, let's do this. Because enough people that I knew who were reading the patterns correctly better than I was.
A bunch of people were able to develop some level of passive income from the events of COVID and the things they were doing while locked down.
Or at least create a good nest egg.
Yeah.
And
it's not like it's a huge amount of money. It's something like you're getting a dividend of like $1,200 a year or something.
And in return, we just had to sacrifice like 300,000 people who would not burden our economy.
Yeah.
Like, it's a terrible but small price to pay. So yeah, I mean, it was definitely an accelerant, I think. Economic, spiritual, political, psychological. I feel optimistic though. I feel pretty fucking good about life. I feel pretty fucking good about society. I'm sorry if you don't, by the way.
What, me?
No, not you.
The viewer.
The listeners, yeah.
Yeah, I feel fine with life and society.
Yeah, no. I mean, I know a lot of listeners and viewers who don't, who are thinking like half the people on my friends list at this point are thinking like the Republicans are the fascists are going to destroy the fucking world, and the other half of the friends list is like, yo, these commies, they're coming after your kids, they're going to turn them all into trannies. And I'm like, Jesus, find God.
It's much preferable to find God than to be hung up on all these political, theatrical measures.
And it's good because I think it's like it works both ways. Let's say you think you're so above it and you're flippant about it and you're like, oh, well, God's just good for the peons, but not me. And eventually it's going to catch up to you. And there's other people who are like, my life sucks. I'm terrified. I have nowhere to turn. And God's the only one left. Takes you to the same place.
Yes. So on that note, Chris.
Yeah, let's head out.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Good night.
Good night.